It's high noon on the 26th of July. It's Wednesday in Jamaica. Thank you so much for joining us on The Bridge. The Bridge is a unity station in Jamaica. The Honorable Colonel Charles and myself, from different backgrounds, political strains, religious affiliation, racial differences, nonetheless come together to lift up the nation, to promote nationalism that transcends all of the differences that we Jamaicans have used to divide us over the history, over the years of our independence. That's what we do. We link with the diaspora on this station. Wherever you are, you can check us at this time live or on your internet when you have the time. The Bridge 99 FM, a new kind of radio. The WhatsApp number is 876-551-5782. And the studio line is 876-676-4996. And you can download the Bridge app at the Google Play Store or from the Apple Store. The Bridge, always open, 99 FM.13579. Talking, playing music, radiating the Jamaican spirit. That's what we do. Coming up to independence, this is the Public Eye. On the program today, in just a few minutes, we join one of Jamaica's veteran diplomats, Ambassador Curtis Ward. We're going to talk about the issue to do with Jamaica's reluctance to grant diplomatic immunity to a member of the American delegation, the United States Embassy's delegation, who is proposed to come here with his same-sex partner. What do you think? Listen to what Ambassador Ward has to say about the history and the consequences of this. And also, Ambassador Ward, long established in United Nations and other circles, what are the implications of our treatment of the Haitian migrants? I call them refugees who have come into Jamaica. What's the law? What's the practice? What are the consequences? Can we be merciful, or are we bound by rules that we choose to rely on that, in fact, restrict us? Later on in the program, Bishop Craig Brown, well known in Jamaican and tri-state circles, Zion Care International is his foundation, and they do every year wonderful work in connection with medical, dental, other services for Jamaicans. He and some of his colleagues will join us at 12:35 to tell us of their mission, their ministry, and how we can help them. And then after 1 o'clock, Dr. Esther Figueroa, well-known environmental scientist. She wants to speak, we want her to speak about this waiver of the bauxite levy that's been given to Windalco. Why? And then there's a big issue of how and under what circumstances we're going to do deep-sea mining. And there are big decisions being taken, meetings now taking place in Kingston, Jamaica. So it's a full program. Still, if you'd like to call us, we'll entertain you. Remember the numbers, 876-676-4996. This is the Public Eye on the Bridge, 99 FM. When our guest is ready, you'll tell us. Mr. Charles, good day to you, sir, and how are you?
Are you having an in and out?
I'm not. I'm hearing you well, but let's turn up the volume a little.
Right.
What's on your soul today? Why is your government rushing these appointments through Parliament? Why are they courting another defeat in the Constitutional Court? Lord Purnell?
Well, I'm sure that the government must have advisors. And I'm sure that they themselves must advise themselves. So they must have a reason.
Uh-huh.
As far as I am concerned, I have not been consulted, so I don't know the reason.
We're talking about...
we're talking about Paul Lloyd.
We're talking about the extension of the tenure of the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Auditor General, passed with gun court speed.
Yes, but it is not.
You like that? With gun court speed in the Parliament of Jamaica. An amendment to the Constitution of Jamaica. Yes? Brought one day, and after 2 or 3 hours passed into law. So we do it?
Yeah, but Ronnie, it's not it's not for Paula Llewellyn and the other person.
So why do it that way?
No, I mean what has been done would be for everybody after
Well,
this.
this is why the principle. I have no comment to make upon these office holders. But what I do have comment to make is why I'm puzzled and thought you might know why indeed do this. Let me say it: indecent haste. I use the term. Gun court speed. Remember the gun court?
Yeah, man.
We passed that in 3 days.
I am not going to discuss with you. I'm not going to oppose the gun court speed.
Yes.
But I'm going to tell you that I am in full support that 70 or 72 is not an old age for people, professionals who are making contribution to Jamaica. So if the amendment is taking it from 60 to 70 or 72, I don't have an oppose on that.
No, but here's the problem. There's a problem with that, sir.
Yeah, why?
The problem in that is the problem of the entire public service. That if people stay on to those ages, then you constipate the line of promotion, and those who are next in line don't get a chance to occupy these offices because people who are favored stay beyond the normal age.
Yeah, but well, that's one side of it.
I thought the trade unionists would understand that.
No, but on the other side, people are making contribution to the country.
Should not be put out to pasture.
Exactly.
Yeah. Look at
you. Do you know that many of those who have been put out from the police force, I'm going to make it that you can understand, just came back from a course that promoted them.
Yeah. In silly.
So a senior level. And they should now be contributing.
Yes.
They are now working with security guards.
Yes, or gone abroad to join police force there.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I am not opposing that in today's world.
Mm-hmm. People are living longer, they're functioning longer. Look at you.
No, why are you picking on me?
Only because I don't want you to look at me. We're both in the same situation.
Well, Ronnie, let me tell you, I am 87.
Yeah.
And I didn't win on the tennis court this morning.
No, but I hear you do well.
Well, but I defended myself.
Yes.
But
and you follow in the line of your party's mentor, Edward Philip George Siago, who at ages not too much below yours, said he had vigor and vitality. Remember?
I thought you were going to go on to say he had a beautiful daughter.
And he had a beautiful daughter too.
Yes,
we'll hear more about that.
No, but on the serious side, I think that in today's world, people at 70 are getting married.
Oh, okay.
People at 70 are having children.
Yeah. Oh, mercy.
I was more than 70 when he had a child.
Okay. No.
So I am not objecting. In fact, I feel that some of the people who are leaving the service have just getting to the real of it.
Right.
And can make a contribution.
Yes.
Not all.
Yes.
Maybe some should be happy to get out and some should be happy to get in.
Yes.
But I would not object.
But why do it this way? Why set everybody's teeth on edge? Why demean the offices that you're talking about, particularly that of the Director of Public Prosecutions, who everybody is going to look at now, for the next, however long her tenure is extended, and say, but she's a Liberate DPP.
No,
sure.
but
why do it that way?
But why don't look at her as a PNP DPP? It was the PNP who put her there.
No, because her extension has been done in this unseemly fashion. It's not a question of doing it. It's a question of how you do it.
Yes.
There's a lovely Latin phrase. It's not the id quod, but it's a modum quo. It is not that which you do, but the way in which you do it. And this government forces through things.
I am going to
they have bullyragging tactics.
I'm going to take that from you as a poem.
Yes.
It's not what you do. What?
Yes. It's how you do it.
It's how you do it.
Yes.
We're coming to something that a poem that I taught you, that my mother taught me years ago.
Right, so tell me again.
The one is, if your foot slip, you can regain your balance. But if your tongue slip, you cannot recall the words. You know where I'm going now?
I do. There you go. This is a Public Eye on Bridge 99 FM. Ambassador Curtis Ward, welcome home.
Thank you very much. I wish I was actually there.
Well, at your pleasure and convenience, sir, you're always welcome in your homeland.
Thank you.
Both Colonel Charles and I welcome you to the public eye once again.
Thank you.
Ambassador, thank you. Ambassador Ward, tell us. Colonel Charles has just shown me a picture circulated on social media of this diplomat who wants to bring his same-sex partner to Jamaica and receive full accreditation and diplomatic immunity for that gentleman, because he is a gentleman. If you see him, he's in the picture, assuming that it's not
One of those
fake news. This gentleman is dressed as a woman, but is obviously a man.
He has a beard.
And he is,
beard.
and he is. The fact is that if that couple were to come to Jamaica and to mix in social circles, do whatever normal people do, diplomats as well, it would cause severe outrage and distress, and probably more than that. Ambassador Ward, what are your thoughts? What are the principles that are involved here? Is Jamaica doing something, the government doing something wrong, doing something right? Help us.
Well, first of all, we shouldn't base our discussion on the basis of a photo,
particular issue,
which I have seen other folks saying that it is false.
Okay, well, scrub that then. Fine.
Yes, yeah.
Let's talk about the principle.
The principle itself is a question of how we relate to the United States in our bilateral relations and under the rules that are set out under the Geneva Convention on Diplomatic Relations. There are ways to handle this. The request, true, the U.S. has the absolute right to select whoever they wish to serve in their foreign service and wherever they wish to post them. That's the right under the the Vienna Convention. But Jamaica, the receiving state, also has certain rights to determine that the proposed individual is unacceptable. So you have to balance those two rights. And now you sit down and you deal with it, you negotiate. The information that we have, and which has not been refuted by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, is that there was a request to grant immunity to this individual's spouse, which Foreign Affairs ignored. And then upon receiving a second request, or what some people have categorized as a demand for an answer, Foreign Affairs, the government of Jamaica said no. And the problem, I believe, is not so much with the answer, but the way it was handled. Did Jamaica disrespect the United States? And in the circles that I've been hearing, is that people really believe that Jamaica disrespected the United States by ignoring the request in the first place.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Ward, let me say this to you. I am one of those persons who know what I want to do for myself, and I do extend it to my family and friends. But is the Constitution of Jamaica and the people of Jamaica that Constitution governs our support, would they be happy to have that? And is the government having an obligation to America, which say disregard what the rest of your country people who are on your Constitution because you want to get what? Something from America? As far as I am concerned, I am not happy about it. And my colleague wrote a paragraph of which I'm in total support that he wrote it on both of us behalf. I don't think that anybody need to tell us that because we are your partner, your associate, and because we need from you, that anything you want, we have to do it. That is why you...
Ambassador Ward is saying that we need not have be in that position if we had negotiated it rather than ignoring the request.
Yeah, but that is not true. You don't have... Mr. Ward, now you don't have that as a fact.
Oh.
I was told that.
Uh-huh.
And I checked it out, and they said nothing went like that.
Okay.
Well, they would not have gotten a request from the United States and called downtown to tell the labor rights and what America want. I mean,
no, I don't understand that.
As bad as we are.
No, but is that it is a question of fact. Did the Jamaican government ignore a request to accredit this person, and did that in fact cause a hardening of positions which otherwise could have been easily resolved?
Well, put it this way. If the government of Jamaica ignored a request from the United States, as you are asked, the question you asked, then I would support what Ambassador Ward just said.
Ambassador, how do we take this forward now? Is there other consequences?
I appreciate every word that Bernard just said.
Good.
Why is it, if there was no first request that was ignored, why is it the foreign minister has not said this publicly?
Yes.
Okay? Why has the prime minister said, or I wouldn't say the prime, why has the foreign minister said this publicly and dispel that rumor maybe that said the government ignored the first request? Because that is a main part of this whole issue. The Jamaican government has the right to say that this individual diplomat's spouse would be unacceptable. Okay? But we have to take into consideration what is U.S. policy on discrimination against any American citizen. And they have to operate based on the policy of non-discrimination regardless of sexual orientation. So they are exercising a right that the Vienna Convention gives them to appoint this person. And out of respect, I would say, and this is something I think many people are missing, I think the U.S. was respectful of Jamaican constitution and laws by requesting immunity for the individual. They did not have to do that. It would have been automatic, but they requested immunity, and so the Jamaican government had an obligation to respond to that request and give reasons why it cannot be granted. Don't ignore it. If it is not true that there was such a request that was ignored, then the Jamaican government should say so. Well, but I have learned from sources that there was a discussion in cabinet on this issue.
Ambassador, is it the American? Is it the American government that made this public, that they have made that?
No, we don't know and for what purpose.
But that's what I am saying. The American government must have dealt with Jamaica at the government level. How it comes out now is as if we are supporting a situation and we don't have any facts supporting what the American government intelligently sent to the Jamaican government and how intelligently the government replied.
So let us agree on a couple of things. First of all, I really hold my government. I can't hold the American government. I hold our Jamaican government to account because they should make this clear. The Prime Minister could have made a statement yesterday. Minister Johnson Smith could have spoken clearly in her a forum in the Senate on Friday and just set the thing out straight. Whether late, whether mistakes are made, just do it, not settle it so we can understand. Where I want to go for the next few minutes before we turn to Haiti is with Ambassador Ward is what is the principle? Because I do not support discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, nor do I support a person who a situation where somebody flaunts their sexuality and in circumstances where there are different standards, different moral principles at work, and it says, "Oh, it's my right to do this." I don't support that either. And that is the issue that I think we have to face in Jamaica. We want to be a liberal society, Ambassador Curtis Ward, but that does not mean that anybody can take step with us.
I totally agree with you. And there's a thing called rights to privacy that we should also respect. What happens in somebody's bedroom is none of my business. But what happens in the public square is my business. And that's how it should be considered and how it should be viewed.
No, I don't agree with. I'm not with you there. What happens in a person's bedroom is very important if children are involved.
Well, certainly.
Yes. Very important.
You're introducing something else.
Indeed, I'm refining what you said. Generally, I understand. But if somebody is coming here, look here, it is America's right to send an Orthodox rabbi, as you were asked in another forum, Ambassador, to Saudi Arabia. But it is clearly the right of the Saudis, fundamentalist Muslims as they are, without breaching anybody's freedom, to say we don't want that such a person. Please do not send that person. And it is a similar situation in this one.
Yeah,
Jamaicans are not prepared to accept a same-sex couple operating and legitimating that style of life in Jamaica. Just not. We don't believe in it, and it would cause confusion. So America, please, don't send that person. Send them somewhere else.
Yeah, but Ambassador Ward is not. Ambassador Ward made a very important point that if the American government intelligently, and I use the word intelligent, just to lift it to a standard that I'm living. If the American government made an application
but you
to the government at the government level, then the government of Jamaica have an obligation to address at their government level.
Why Camino or Andrew just don't say what happened?
No, but what I am saying, how do you know that happened?
They haven't told
I am telling you.
They haven't told us.
No, well, I am.
No, sir, they haven't told us.
In other words,
and they should.
I am not sure. I'm not going to ask, Ambassador. Is it something that if there's a discussion between two governments and Facebook or one of these things,
if it becomes public and if it becomes an issue for us, because it's a very significant issue, yes, it is a very significant issue in Jamaica. Then why would the government not tell us?
Because there might be a settlement between the two governments.
But tell us the settlement. Who they're working on behalf? They're not working on behalf of themselves. They're working on behalf of us.
In other words, you want the American government to say like what you have said.
Well, I'm not talking about the American government.
I mean the Jamaican
government and them talk to us
to back up what you say.
No, whatever their position. I tell you what I feel. I hope that they feel the same. But it appears that they might, but that they must come out. I don't know why we're doing this Nicodemus thing. Next,
Ronnie, you asked a question which I...
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Ward. I think he's gone frozen. What a pity.
We're going to go on let's discuss the Haitian thing.
Yes, we have 5 minutes to do that.
Ronnie, as you are an attorney.
Try and unfreeze him for us, Jeff.
You're an attorney.
Yes, sir.
Why all of these attorneys with all of what has happened, nobody accompanied these people to court that day? All of these organizations that are fighting for fright and nobody...
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
If I had known they were going to court, I would have found myself there. Nobody knew, or I don't know who knew, that they were going to do it.
Say you don't know who knew.
And
with
the greatest of respect to the judiciary, yes? If I were the judge, or I would expect the judge, yes, to have said, no.
Are you represented?
Are you represented? And I'm not hearing this matter unless you are.
And if they don't, they could assign a
They have the right. Legal aid is available in Jamaica.
You know my point.
Yes, sir.
and Ambassador.
So why are we so cold and cruel?
No, but they follow the law. The judge follow the law.
No, you can't, the law. Listen to me.
That you're an attorney. You tell me.
No,
what the judge did.
The highest principle of law is equity. You must do what is right. And yes, you have the right to deal with the case, to take the case which is before you, whether or not they are represented. But is it the right thing to do? No, it's not.
Yeah, but the judge said they must go back. The judge only say they charge them for landing. That's
my Lord. Of course, that's what it is. That was the charge put before.
For landing.
But the necessary implication of this,
Yeah.
if you
illegally land, then they must be legally returned.
So why? What end of justice do you want? What kind of justice do you defend? A justice like the Pharisees and the scribes of the Bible, which go to the letter of the law, or the law of the spirit of rightness, of order, of compassion?
Are the people still here?
They are.
Okay, so why don't
you know why they're here?
Yeah,
because everybody cry out.
Well, isn't that what?
No, if it come to that, yes, that's it. But it should. They could have put them on the plane the next day and said, and they put the original position of the government, which was that they should return. Yes, on some.
No, but did they say they should return?
Yeah, of course, because they never applied for amnesty. How people who can't even speak the language.
That is why I'm saying, all of you lawyers, none of you even get up and say a word on behalf of these people.
I'm so sorry. We're going.
My son is an attorney, so I'm watching all of you.
But I'm so sorry.
And my brother too.
Yeah, we should have given you the KC because you're turning it on the lawyers now, rather than on the government. And it's the government who has the executive responsibility, and they must do that which is equitable and right in the circumstances, and to send people who flee their country, which we know is in chaos. The CNN tracker that we are looking at here just now says that the United States in Haiti has told all of their staff, don't leave the embassy compound. Things are so dangerous. So we are sending those people back to that situation. Why?
Who's doing that?
But we were. Eh? It's now when the lawyer lady, attorney Hugh Small, and others have gone down and at the last moment said, listen, apply for amnesty because that will prevent your imminent deportation. What we should be doing is accepting those people as in compassion to their blackness, to their struggle, to their humanity, to their history. No question. Don't tell me about courthouse.
No. That don't make anybody believe that we are disagreeing on that point.
Okay. Well,
what we are disagreeing what we're talking about is the legality of it. Yeah. That what has been done the last minute. Yeah. All of these people who are fighting every little thing on Facebook and this and that. They make these people go to court by themselves. And the little man them in Portland, they take them off the sea, feed them, close them,
of course, that is
and the government take them, go put them down, and none of you.
No, I don't want none of you. You're turning.
I don't want to turn it on you.
What a deflection.
The legal representation.
What a deflection. We're going to have to make you Attorney General. It would be good.
No. Hold on. Don't get it.
I have to leave it now.
It's not only PNP lawyers.
No, wait. No, Ambassador is back with us. Okay. Ambassador, you there?
Yes, I am.
You heard the puss and dog fight.
Yeah, the little war between us.
What do you feel, sir, about this? We have just a few minutes to hear you.
Yes, I just overheard the last part about it. You're talking about the Haitians,
we moved on to the Haitians now. I think you helped us on the other matter.
Well, first of all, we have to treat this as a humanitarian issue. And we have to look at it from the standpoint of the international humanitarian laws of which we are members, including the International Human Rights Law and the International Convention on Refugees. And if we follow those conventions and we apply those principles, which we as a Jamaican government, not just past Jamaican governments, but Jamaican governments since independence have been pushing really hard on the whole question of human rights and humanitarian law.
Of course.
In the international community.
Hugh Shearer, 1968.
contradictory in my mind that we were talking about deporting Haitians who have fled a country which is unstable. They have fled violence and ended up on Jamaica's shores. And we are on the international stage advocating for help for Haiti.
Yeah.
But we are prepared to send these.
Others must give it, but we send them back. My
to
God.
them.
My God. And you stand up, believe
No,
me.
Ronnie, you and I stay right around this mic.
Yes.
That we would stand on the airport.
Yeah, you said
stand
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
I am prepared to give some of
Sure.
my money that I am getting
Yeah.
to feed them and keep them here.
But not the government.
But how are you going to send those people back?
Agreed, sir.
Ronnie, just what they had to suffer and the sea
Yeah.
in
Alone.
those pieces of
Sure.
boat to come here.
Thank you,
and
sir.
you're going to put them back in nice place and land them back in where?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Ambassador, just before you go, sir, what should we do if there are other landings like this? I mean, it's an international problem now, but we're localizing it for the moment. A country simply can't open itself on humanitarian grounds to floods of people from another country. Is that what the conventions require us to do? Think we've lost Ambassador again, and we won't be able to get him back this time. There are real issues, but in this one, let us be kind, no?
Ronnie, in this one, it cannot be conventions,
Yeah.
international.
Thank you, sir. Human life.
There are too many things in
Flesh
Haiti
and
that
blood.
are us.
Flesh and blood.
From where we came
Yeah.
to where we are,
Quite
to
so.
where we should be,
Yeah.
and where we are now.
So,
If we have to defy some of those conventions,
well,
we can't
no,
send these people back
Good, we have
in
to-
plane
we have to act on
after
those
them hide to
conventions.
come here and get them back right. Go put them in the gun mouth.
you hear the statement by the Honorable Colonel Charles. This is the public eye on the bridge, 99 FM. When we come back, Zion Care International are a group of people who give themselves to the care of Jamaicans who can't manage for themselves, you see. They do it out of Christian and humane conviction. Bishop Craig Brown is our guest. He has some others with him too. Soon come. Broadcasting to the diaspora in the tri-state area through IRIJAM radio and everywhere over the internet. Bishop Craig Brown, welcome home.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be home.
Good, and may I introduce you to my co-host, the Honorable Colonel Charles.
Good afternoon, Mr. Charles.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine.
You sound like you're a man from Jamaica.
The man is
Absolutely. I was born and bred right here.
Bishop, tell the audience and tell Pernell, who does I don't think knows as much as I do, what is the origin of Zion Care?
Well, we started missions to Jamaica at about 10 years ago. Well, our first mission was in Alexandra Hospital, the community center there. And over the years, we have branched out to other areas. We are not only concerned in terms of health, but we have gotten into education in terms of donating desks and chairs and smart board to various schools in Kingston. And we try to support in any way we can. You know, we're Jamaicans, but we're living abroad, and we're concerned about the challenges that people face here, whether in terms of health or education. So we're all over. Our latest donation was a state-of-the-art cardiovascular center to the Kingston Public Hospital.
Really?
And we work very closely with the Sir John Golden Rehab Center. Yeah, we have a team there actually today, and they've been here since Monday, that have been giving service to the patients in that hospital. We have a team arriving today that will be helping clearing some of the backlog in the cardiovascular surgery department, and we're looking to collaborate even more with them in terms of not only donation material-wise, but linking their head with our head of orthopedic in New York at Montefiore Hospital for consultation.
Bishop, I take it then that the teams you're speaking of are teams of medical personnel. Could you describe that? And I believe you have some friends to introduce to us as we discuss.
Sure. We have a large team here, mostly dental, from Howard University School of Dentistry. One of the experience we have had over the years, Ronnie, is that dentistry is always so much more in demand. So this year, we geared ourselves in that respect to address mostly dental. The team from Montefiore is a rehabilitation team. That's why they were based in
Sir John Golding.
Sir John Golding. The team coming in today is they're orthopedic surgeons, and they'll be working out at KPH.
No, hold on a minute, Bishop. Let us understand. Our audience is largely in the diaspora, but locally too. These are skilled medical personnel who come here. Who pays them, Bishop?
They're not paid. They're volunteers, and that's a great thing about it. They're volunteers. They're paid their own way, and they come to volunteer their service. Ronnie, here's the thing. We know the deficiencies in our system here. Dental is very, very rare to the poor.
Yeah.
And even with the government service or the clinics that they run, it's not adequate. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to build capacity, because when the mission actually arrives in Jamaica, that's only one aspect of it. We have an MOU with Howard University School of Dentistry that also include exchange of faculty and students. So where we don't have capacity, we're trying to build those capacity up in terms of dentistry.
Excellent. Bishop, I have to ask you at this stage, why you do this? Why do those guys do this too? What motivates you?
You know, as you know, I went to St. George's College. I was educated by Jesuits.
Yes.
No offense, Mr. Charles. And they impressed upon me at a very early age the importance of service. I am my brother's keeper. And with that said, we have to do these missions as a church, because in many cases, the work of the church, Ronnie, is not in the church, it is outside of the church.
Sure.
And therefore, we must endeavor to reach those who fall below that social safety net.
Well, is that the same spirit that encourages those dentists and doctors and other people who come with you? Because your motivation is clear. I'm anxious to know that people who aren't connected with Jamaica, as Bishop Craig Brown is, nonetheless would care for us, would think of us so highly, would think of themselves that they would want to do this voluntary service.
Ronnie, listen, the process of being selected is very rigorous. I have sitting next to me here Dr. Salter, who is in charge of student affairs and other things at Howard University, and it is very selective and very competitive. We had over 110 applications from some of the best dental schools in New York and Florida and Maryland, and we settled on choosing Howard because we thought their mindset is consistent with ours in terms of service.
Yes.
We're not here to look down on anybody. We are here to lift them up and let them know that we care. Seas and land may separate us, but we're all God's children.
Bishop, can I ask you, are all of your colleagues, the dentists and other technicians, are they Jamaicans?
No, not at all. None of them are Jamaican, but listen,
so now,
it's the love.
The reason I ask you, Bishop, is very, very important. Here are people outside of Jamaica looking at Jamaica and giving a service that Jamaica needs badly. I mean, may I show off right here to tell you that I have a daughter who is a doctor of dental surgery from Howard too, who is in operation right now in Jamaica.
Great. Great.
But Jamaicans need to know
Yes.
the interest that people who
The
have
gift.
no blood connection,
Indeed.
no financial connection,
in fact.
put on their own and come to Jamaica.
Yes.
Ronnie, I am going to sit off mic and tell you,
Yes.
we are not appreciating
No, that's why we're
where
having
we
this-
have been
Yeah.
for a past few years.
That's
and
right.
those who have sacrificed
That's why we're
and
having
could
this
have gone
interview.
other places.
Yes. Can we say
Come
hello?
here.
Can we say hello to Dr. Salter, please, Bishop?
Go ahead.
Good evening. How are you?
Hi, Dr. Salter. Welcome to Jamaica.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Dr. Salter, the connection between Howard University, particularly its faculty of dentistry, is legendary in this country. We need to salute you and support you and thank Howard for its openness to Jamaican students.
Well, we always feel at home right here in Jamaica, always.
Really, that's great. Tell us, what kind of services are you able to offer to our people when you come with Zan Care International?
It's been wonderful. So this week we've been able to do some extractions, a lot of exams, patient education, and today we've been doing quite a few cleanings. Love to see all the children that are coming. I think it's been wonderful. So we've been able to interact with the children. Some a little fearful of the dentist, so we wanted to show them that we are human too, and walk them through the procedure just to get them acclimated with their health care and not being afraid of the person with the mask on, because we're here to help.
Yes. Dr. Salter, is the deficiencies of dental care that that we know of in Jamaica, is it unique to our country, or is it a worldwide thing? How does a head of a dental school person in your position, how do we relate to the overall improvement of our dental care?
Yeah, it's not unique to Jamaica. I tell you, right in Washington, D.C., where we're based, we have a large population of underserved, underinsured. So when you come to Howard, we really understand what it means to touch a community. And our students, they come from all over. So we have quite a few students who are from Jamaica. So, when you're at Howard, you're part of a family. So if their family are here and they're suffering and they're in need, we're right there for them. So it's not foreign to us to go to other countries. We have students who do go to other countries to do missions. But for me, I particularly make it a promise to come to Jamaica every year because this is where my heart is. It's funny, you asked about familial ties. I didn't realize my father, after I started coming here some years ago, told me that his grandfather was from St. Catherine's. I've never been there, so I have some ties that I don't know about, but I always feel right at home here.
That's great. We want you to explore those ties. What ought Jamaicans to hear from Dr. Salter of the Howard Dental School? What should we do to improve our dental health, Dr. Salter?
Well, it starts with the old cliche, brushing twice a day. I think the most important thing is diet. A lot of people may not really understand that your diet plays a great part of your oral health. Your oral health is certainly tied to your overall health. So what we put in our mouth, we put in our body, it has a great effect on how our body functions, how we think, So it's very important that we keep our mouth clean, our teeth clean, flossing. A lot of people do not realize how important that is. Get those remnants at your toothbrush. And, one thing with our people, whether Jamaican or American, but just if you are black, one thing about our culture is we do not understand that dental care should not be emergency care. It's something you need to start with your child, really start doing those early exams so you can prevent those cavities and having to have your tooth removed. But it's very important for your appearance and your confidence and your diet.
Before I let you go, Dr. Salter, help me on that one, because the majority of the people who you're dealing with when you visit here and are people who don't have much choice as far as their diet is concerned. Their economic situation constrains them perhaps to to favor or to rely on foods that are high in sugars and so on. What can they do? Are they just hapless victims, or must they take special care?
Let me tell you, the most simple thing is water. I tell parents all the time. That's right.
Really?
You do not deny your child candy. Now, I wouldn't do excessive candy and excessive sweets.
Yes.
But water, don't send your child to bed drinking juices because of the high sugar content.
Yes.
But make sure the last thing they put in their mouth at night is water.
No, this is excellent advice. Yeah. So you can avert the situation, which is unavoidable, not simply but considerably, by taking in as much water as possible, particularly at night. That's excellent advice. I'm really happy for that. Dr. Salter,
maybe I just tell him
Sure.
something that, because I don't think that many of us in Jamaica appreciate the value of one tooth.
Yes.
My daughter refused to pull out a tooth because she said it has so much
value.
Value in it.
Yes.
And normally we just pull out the teeth, dash it and go on and use gum.
Yes.
And we lose all of that. Stomach get bad.
There you are. There's so many consequences.
Indeed. That's a problem.
Dr. Salter, we're grateful to Howard. We're grateful to you and to Zion Care International. Thanks for sharing with us. Please put me back to Bishop Brown now.
Yes, Deacon Twig.
Doctor is in Jamaica too?
Yes, he's in Jamaica too.
Doctor, we need to get in touch. My daughter would love to talk to you.
Well, there you go.
She's one of your
alumni.
University alumni. Yes.
That's good. Bishop.
Sure, we'd love to arrange that.
Well, we'll give you a call afterwards through Orville and help in that way. Bishop, before time runs out on us, we want to know, you're connected with these various universities. I believe you have many of our listeners won't know what Montefiore is.
Well, Montefiore is one of the largest private hospitals in New York. Employs over, I think, 25,000 individuals. It provides excellent service. I don't know if you recall, Ronnie. You remember that young man up in Alexandria that was mauled by dogs?
Yes, I was going to remember that.
Yes.
Perna, you remember that? Fellow was badly bitten up by dogs.
Yes.
Child.
And
Bishop, Zion Care and Montefiore helped with that, eh? Tell us.
We medevaced him up to Montefiore. He was there for about 4 or 5 months and received excellent care.
Yes.
Not that our doctors here were incapable of providing care, but we wanted him to get the optimum of everything that he deserved. And Ronnie, we at Zion Care, and I can speak as our chairman, we're committed to helping in any capacity that uplift the people of Jamaica, especially the poor. We work very closely with Dr. Wiley at KPH, and any way we can help.
Fantastic lady.
To bring help to Jamaica, we're going to do it. And there's a big announcement coming up with regards to beds at KPH. Not a lot of people know about it. We're working on it privately, but it is going to significantly change the bed count in KPH in terms of modernization.
Great. Bishop, what can Jamaicans do to help Zion Care International?
Oh, that's a good one.
Apart from expressing our appreciation and ask you to continue, because we just can't pay you for what you do.
No, it doesn't ask for it. It's a different kind of pay.
Remember,
we're talking to...
We do it for the love, not the like. Ronnie, listen, for me, and I shy away from interviews because for me personally, it's what every Christian should do.
Thank you.
So I don't want to be glorified or anything like that. What other people out there could do is just help each other. If you want to really help Zion Care, help each other. Be kind. Be generous.
Well,
because that's what we're about.
Sure.
Spreading the generosity of Christ and the love to everyone. Yes, we do need sponsorship in various projects. But, Ronnie, I believe if the church is of God, the church will stand. And if the organization is of God, it will stand. God will make a way.
Yes. I remember our audience is considerable in the diaspora, in the tri-state area, particularly, Bishop.
Yes.
Where does ANCARE raise its resources from? Can the diaspora rally around Zancare and other organizations to help?
Absolutely. They can go to our website, ZionCareInternational.org, and make a donation. We have various projects that we are working on.
Yes.
And make a donation. They can get involved in terms of volunteering for our mission, because, Ronnie, it's arduous work. It's tough. We're here up in East Rural St. Andrew. We have a team over there in Central St. Catherine. And supplies are expensive. We need help in those regards. But as I said, God has always provided. But if the people would like to donate to us, they can go to our website, Zion Care International, and make a donation to any project that they want to support. You know, Ronnie, I went to, I think it was last year, I was in Sovereign Center, and I came across a young lady who had a problem, an accident. And after talking to her, I decided to go back to the U.S. and we purchased over 10,000 disposable pads that we are now distributing to various schools.
Oh Lord, that is such a necessity.
Ronnie, I was taken aback when this young lady described
period poverty.
Oh my God, Ronnie, I had to take a seat, man. It was.
Yeah.
I didn't know, Ronnie. You know, I think sometimes we take for granted.
Of course we do.
The suffering of some people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basic necessity.
Well,
so.
And we become it's so deep that we become numbed to it, when in fact it's so demeaning, and it hasn't cost you $1 million to deal with that. It's those basic things that we need to be made conscious of and help with wherever we can, eh?
Absolutely. So I went home and we bought 10,000, and within this mission we're issuing to various schools.
Right.
Having said that, let's say we have a full stack pharmacy here. So and this pharmacy was composed based on recommendation from the Ministry of Health on the 10 most prevalent disease or problems here in Jamaica. So if you have a valid prescription, you can come up to Papine High and have it filled, whether it be blood pressure or sugar.
Whoa. That's good.
At
That's
no
an offer.
cost.
That's an offer. Whoa, that's tremendous. Thank you for that. How long are you going to be there?
We end on Friday. We have been here since Monday.
Mm-hmm.
All you need is a valid prescription.
Sure.
And we will, I can't tell you everything that's on
but it's worth coming and trying.
Yes. I know we're covering blood pressure and
diabetes.
Sugar.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm telling Pernell, the first time I met Bishop Brown was in his clinic in Buff Bay. He was working in conjunction with Darrell Vaz, the Member of Parliament. And the synergy between the Ministry of Health and its officials and Zion Care is one important feature of your ministry, isn't it so, Bishop?
It is absolutely. I'm very thankful to the International Division. I think Phyllis Hall is the one that heads.
Yes, good name, section. Good person.
And they're the ones who facilitate missions in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we have disagreement in terms of procedure, but they provide a very fundamental access to the various councils, whether it be dental or medical. So all thanks to them.
Yes.
And you know, Ronnie, listen, there are serious health issues in this country as it relates to the poor that we really have to address. I spoke to Dr. Sauter on my return to the United States. I am really going to increase the intensity in bringing the world best specialists to Jamaica. And it's not only in terms of coming here to have mission, but I want to build the capacity. For example, we have been having the discussion about a burn unit here in Jamaica.
Indeed. Wow.
To be truthful, I'm not particularly pleased with the ministry at this time, but I'm not even going to go into that direction. But here's what. We had an arrangement set up where Jacobi Hospital and Columbia Presbyterian had agreed to train Jamaican nurses in how to treat burns, and they were willing to send their experts here, and what could be accomplished on Zoom would be done. Ronnie, that has been 4 years ago. Nothing from the Ministry of Health.
Oh dear Lord, Bishop. Enough word to wise people is enough. I think we have somebody here with us who can perhaps provoke some response there. You coming back next year, sir?
We're definitely coming back. Jamaica is my home, and I am deeply concerned about the poor here.
Yeah, and we are deeply grateful for your continuing effort and loyalty, and particularly for those like Dr. Salt and all of your team who share their humanity with us in such important ways. Bishop Craig Brown, Zion Care International, thanks so much for this interview. We're available to you anytime. Blessings.
Blessings and thank you.
All the best. This is The Public Eye on the Bridge 99. We take a break, soon come back. On The Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM, Pernell Charles and myself, looking at the affairs of the nation. This is Unity Radio. We're not letting the differences of politics or of history or of ascription get in the way of doing what is right, suggesting what is right for the nation. If we call out the idea, it may implant in the heart of people and you may get change behavior, change policies. Right? That's what we do. So don't bother come with little isms and schisms. Talk it straight. Dr. Esther Figueroa, welcome.
Hi, Ronnie. I don't see Mr. Charles, so where is he?
I was just getting nervous that you're not talking to me. You're talking to Ronnie.
All right, no problem.
Listen to me. You ever see this old gentleman play tennis here at Esther?
Yes, I was telling Ronnie I saw you playing tennis the other day, and I was so impressed.
What? Look at this. She saw you playing tennis.
Yes.
Yes.
You need to come and watch me.
Well, flattery will get you everywhere, Dr. Figueroa. Esther Figueroa, environmentalist, grateful for your company now. Spending time with you today. We have two big issues. The first is, we know of your analysis and activism in respect of bauxite mining in Jamaica. I was shocked a week or 10 days ago when the Minister of Finance announced that in respect of the company called Windalco, owned by UC Rusal, Mr. Deripaska's company, friend of Mr. Putin, but they have applied for, and government on our behalf has agreed that we will waive the bauxite levy payments for this company because apparently they are not making money. How that go, Esther Figueroa? What is your take on that? How can that
Ronnie,
be justified?
I don't know why you're shocked, because the waiver has been, the waiver, the levy, we might as well call it the waiver. The levy has been waived for almost everyone, and the last company that was paying the waiver was Windalco. And you might remember when Putin invaded Ukraine and there were sanctions against oligarchs such as his dear friend that owns Rusal, that we were assured that it would have no impact on Rusal.
Yeah.
And now we're told that they're in such desperate straits that they will fold if they don't get the waiver of the levy, which is quite strange. That Dr. Clark would think it's okay to waive the levy, because when we had the injunction against mining in spreading into SML 173 and the last remaining farmlands such as Industry Pen, Nigel Clark said that we would have to raise $6 billion in new taxes to make up for the loss of such things as the injunction, as the waiver, that actually Discovery doesn't even pay. So the math does not add up, and it's all quite strange.
I confronted the government.
Yeah.
And as a trade unionist, I was advised that they were officially advised that the company could not proceed any further, that they'll be closing. No. You put all the workers out, which you know my heart. If you put the workers out, you put the communities that they purchase and work with, their children and school, and so forth. The whole contribution.
Yeah.
Would it be more a pressure on the country and the people of Jamaica than the taxes that they're paying? The answer is yes.
Now, who certifies that they will close?
No. Let's go before the certification.
No.
Let me tell you what they convinced me with. Now, you as an attorney, it's not hard to find out. It's not hard to find out. You can take it further than I have taken as to whether or not the government is lying or they have lied to the government. But I'm telling you, the conditions under which they say they gave.
So any foreign-based company in Jamaica now who pays tax can come to the government.
Well, not tax. They're not paying tax.
No, they're not paying tax.
Income tax.
Beg your pardon. They don't pay income tax.
No, any foreign-based country in Jamaica.
A company.
Any foreign-based company in Jamaica who is employing a certain amount of Jamaica,
so everybody
making a contribution to Jamaica.
Hello, sir. Every foreign company.
That is higher than the taxes.
Right.
If they have a problem, I wouldn't have a problem in using the tax.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk economics, Mr. Charles.
I don't know if that is true.
Rusal closed Turbine, which has never been opened.
Yeah.
Rusal closed Alpart, which was for almost 8 years. It was then sold to Gisco, where it remained open for maybe a year and was closed again. Rusal reduced the capacity of Wildalco. So Rusal itself already reduced its contribution to the economy. And in terms of economics, we have to think of the fact that Rusal Wildalco is a combination of what had been Alcan from the 1950s and Alpart, which, as I mentioned, they later sold to Gisco. So if you think of the damage to the economies since the 1950s that bauxite mining and refining has done, and the damage that is currently going on to farmers and fishers, because fishers have suffered numerous losses of livelihood because of the constant pollution of the Rio Cobre. I have to ask you, and I have to ask the government, why are the only jobs that we care about the jobs of those working in bauxite and alumina? Because we don't seem to care about those teachers who have to leave, those small businesses, landowners. We don't seem to care about farmers, fishers, ordinary family people. We only seem to care about those that work in the bauxite alumina industry.
No, that's not so. That's not so. It's not only who is working in the Bauxite Company. I know this because I've been a party to it, right? Many people who have shops, many people who have set up business benefited from the workers' money they get. Many children who are going to school today are going as a result of their parents' work in the bauxite.
You see, you come from a different perspective than me, because I am now persuaded that the bauxite mining is not good for Jamaica at all.
No.
That there is going to be some fallout, that some shops are going to be closed, and that some workers are going to lose their jobs.
Yes, and some children are going to pull out of school.
But my view is that what the effects of the bauxite industry is causing multiples of all those things.
There are
Ronnie,
children right now who can't go to school in St. Anne because their parents no longer have farming
They can't-
to send them
can't
to
cultivate
school.
anymore.
Right
You know
now,
that.
this very second.
Yes.
Miss, could you tell me where that is?
Of course.
I am.
Yes,
Hold on.
Throughout-
Gibraltar,
hold on.
Madras,
Just-
Barnstable,
just-
Industry,
Just hold a minute.
Wattstown,
Just hold a minute.
Caledonia. I can go on and on.
When you come to Brownstone, Alexandria,
Endeavour.
hold on, no? Madras, Tobolsky, you're talking to me.
No, but
I walk, I live
yeah, but
there. Hold on a minute.
you've acknowledged that. You've acknowledged the waste.
No, I'm talking right now. There are people in
But
Gibraltar,
you're denying that.
Endeavour, Somerton, Industry Pen, Caledonia, about to happen in Madras, who have lost their land, and that is what they send their children to by growing yams, sweet potato, and other crops, which
Yes.
they then send their children to school.
My
So
colleague-
again, we need to think about everybody who is losing their work, not just their livelihoods, not just the bauxite workers.
My colleague here will tell you that I have complained to him. I have complained to the government. I've complained to everybody as to what it has done to the livelihood of people in Moko and some of these areas, right? But I also know that some people have benefited from being in
No, but it's undoubted.
contractors,
No, it's undoubted.
absolutely
Undoubted.
benefited.
Undoubted. Nobody is denying that.
Schools.
But what concerns me, sir, is that the bauxite companies have the government on a string. And I really don't know how we could be defending the income of the bauxite industry, as Nigel Clark did with the Noble issue
Right.
of St. Anne and the court proceedings there. And then the next thing we say, we give away more of that income by waiving the levy.
So let me ask you.
it's where we're going.
Let me ask you a question. If you were in the footprint of the Minister of Finance,
Yes, sir.
and the bauxite company say, "Look, we have to close," and you look at what you have around in terms of the contractors who are working with them.
Remember,
the
you
workers who are working with them.
and I were in Parliament
Yes.
when Mike Henry was the minister, and we substituted the levy for profit sharing. And I asked a question which I've never got an answer to: who is going to audit the books to tell what profit is being made and which share we are going to get? We have never got any share. Yes, these people are twisting and turning us. It's time that they come out. It's time that the bauxite industry or the mining sector, if it is going to be continued, and I have questions, is at least has more leverage locally, is owned locally, rather than these people.
But
And
Right, but you also, Ronnie, you also called for cost-benefit
Yes.
analysis. And again, these numbers are thrown around, how
Yeah.
many people are employed, et cetera,
never,
et cetera.
never
We're
accepted
not
by
looking
the
at the
Speaker of the
loss
House.
of land that can never be returned.
Exactly.
We're talking about soil that won't be there for another 100,000 years. We're talking about the cost of importing food. We're talking about the disruption to health. Mr. Hamilton, one of our main campaigners, just died last month from ill effects, one of the most important leaders in the Madras community. And this is repeated over and over. So,
Are you
Mr.
saying
Charles,
that
even your daughter did a public health, her PhD on the public health effects. It adds up. We can't just look at wages and jobs for an elite set of workers. We have to look at the entire impact. What happens when there's no water? What happens with rising temperatures, which comes from deforestation? What happens when people literally have to leave and go somewhere else, as you know, because you know all of this happens. So we need to think of economics in its fullest sense, not just X amount of foreign exchange and X amount of jobs. We have to think of the fullness of economy.
Yeah, you know of any persons who their land has been taken from them, who haven't had land given to them somewhere else?
Oh, of course, absolutely.
I wish you would let me have that. Because
Absolutely.
the problem that I
And
had
it's
in my
not about,
country.
they don't, you know the law. You don't have to have land given to you. You don't even have to have a company buy you out or anything like that. Under the law, the company just needs to give you 2 weeks notice and they can come on your land and mine. That is the bottom line.
Wickedness.
What I know,
And the
Ronnie,
question is, how did the company get these tens of thousands of acres to start with? This goes back to the land grabs of the 50s, where people, who couldn't read or write. And as you know, there are people who were moved who for generations have not had land titles and not been able to get to do any development on their land.
That is where I'm going.
So, but why?
That is where I'm going, Ronnie.
Doesn't this all add up?
In Moko, right?
Uh-huh.
That they gave people back good lands down on the flat, where they said there's no bauxite. But so nobody has lost land. What they've lost is houses and places, and they build back houses and those they give them too.
Yeah, some.
But they don't have no title.
Yeah. So
up to now, for years they can't get the title. So they can't get to go on to do any business in that situation.
Exactly, sir. You lose your economic viability.
Yeah.
No, but why do we continue this? Why don't we at least study it and find out how we could do it better? And yet your government and mine as well has said no.
Every minister promises to do it better, but up to now it continues with the same practices.
Pernell and I come together, Esther, because we're really beyond we would like to think beyond our partisan interests, although both of us are still connected, you see. But why would both your side and our side, my side, refuse to entertain even a consideration by Parliament of whether we're making money or we're losing money on this thing? And
you have to consider the debt.
Yes.
The government is in huge debt over Clarendon, has always been in debt over
losing money.
Clarendon Aluminum Partners from day one.
And so now, when we continue going and we continue to make concessions, when we're going to start benefit, please, sir? I mean, really and truly, this the politics of the thing, the refusal to at least inquire into it, to have a position that is based on fact, or the whole composite of facts, is something that everybody of goodwill, let alone political interest, ought to be able to combine about.
The Minister of Finance has said that if they didn't have the bauxite money, they would have to put how much more tax on you?
But then he gives up some of the bauxite
6 billion. 6 billion.
Yeah. Well, he could have taken, that's not really so. If we save some of it.
I don't know how you know it's not so.
No, but
you need to tell me how you know.
But after he said 6 billion, he waived the levy.
Yes, and we overspent 10 billion on the roads this morning in the paper that nobody can explain.
Which road?
Check the headline of the Gleaner. $10 billion overrun on four roads. I want to say 4 so-so roads. $10 billion overrun.
Yes, because
unexplained.
Yeah,
and that is repeated over and over.
Over and over.
I am not here to defend that because I don't know.
But I'm saying,
all I can say is
so stop.
I know.
6 for a 9 put before the court. The injunction should have stayed. Really and truly, because we don't even.
Don't you ask for it to go to the court? You asked for it to go to the court.
Yes.
You have put your confidence in the court.
No.
And it went to the court.
No. Wait.
And the court.
No.
Ruled otherwise.
No, the court.
The court wouldn't even listen to what the people said. You see, here's the problem. There's a huge power differential. All right. Over and over, the people make claims that their water has been polluted by the dust, that their health has been damaged, that they've lost their livelihood, etc., etc. And over, it is simply denied. And in the case of the court, a high standard of evidence denies the testimonies of ordinary Jamaicans. Okay? What will it take to actually believe? Because photographs have been denied, video has been denied, the people's words themselves have been denied. I have sat in meetings over and over where people just simply say, it's not so, no matter what evidence you present.
Well, as you're aware, my daughter did a study on the Clarendon situation for her doctorate.
And what was the
Yes.
conclusion?
Well, she has just told us what the
Yeah, well,
conclusion.
but then after that
which-
level, we
yeah.
don't follow it. So
Well,
who,
not just that. This
That's-
is Purnell's
let me-
daughter,
let-
and
let
she
me
was
tell you- let me-
vilified.
Yes.
Vilified.
Let me tell you one more, Ronnie.
yeah,
I know of a lady
yeah,
in St. Anne
uh-huh,
who decided that she was not going to sell her land.
uh-huh,
Something in the contract, and not the new contract,
Yeah.
which says if you don't sell the
Yes,
land,
sir.
they take the land
Yes.
and put the money in the bank.
Yes, sir.
And she wake up and the machine them
Yeah.
working
And give her-
around her house.
and give her $3,000 for the breadfruit tree.
What's a different one? That
Yeah.
one works.
Same,
The
yeah.
one that she take to
Yeah.
send her three children to school.
high school.
They give her
God
$3,000
help
for
us.
breadfruit.
God help us. And this is what we are going on with, and going on as if we have no alternative. Bright
We
people.
have to find alternatives.
Eh,
Find alternatives.
Listen, Esther Figueroa, thanks for that. It's 1:30. I don't think we need a break. Let's take you to the second subject we want to talk about today. I gathered from you, I had overlooked the news, that there have been high-level meetings in Kingston recently about the issue of deep-sea mining. What are the issues
Yes,
at
they're
stake here?
they're going on right now. We have heads of states, and everyone right now. We have the assembly, and 2 weeks ago, for 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks, we had the council, and I'll explain the difference between the two. But right now, the assembly, everyone who begins their contribution thanks the government of Jamaica for hosting the ISA, which is the International Seabed Authority,
yeah.
and thanks the people of Jamaica for their warm, and the beautiful city of Kingston. So we have here the headquarters of a very important United Nations entity. The heads of state, diplomats, high-level ministers are here, and they're thanking the Jamaican people and the Jamaican government. And the vast majority of Jamaicans have no idea what this is and what is going on. Though recently we've been able to get quite a bit of media coverage, and I'm very happy about that. So let me just explain what deep sea mining is. Imagine what if you're in St. Anne, if you're in Moko, if you're in different parts of Jamaica, imagine strip mining, okay? Except it's taking place on the seabed, that's the sea floor, okay? And imagine it's taking place in the deepest, deepest, deepest part of the planet.
What are they taking out? What are they taking out?
They're looking for certain types of metals, such as what are called nodules, what are cobalt, all sorts of different types of what are called poly. Sorry, I can't, let me get the correct word. Metals that are supposedly needed for the so-called green energy transition. Okay, so what is happening is, imagine that this is going on this is the dark part of the sea, the oceans, the deepest part of the oceans that we know the least about, right? We know almost nothing about these places. And yet, what has happened, this is all part of the UN Law of the Sea, a document that was actually signed in Montego Bay. So Jamaica has a deep relationship with all of this, is that there's this entity, the International Seabed Association, where the council is made up of 36 individuals, and those 36 individuals can decide the fate of the planet, meaning they can decide if mining, there are 30 exploration licenses that have been given out. There are entities that have been exploring these nodules and doing various types of seabed mining as exploration, whether we can now start to do this in the deep sea in what is called the heritage of humanity, the shared heritage of humanity under the UN Law of the Sea, if this can now start. And right now, the Assembly, which is made up of more countries, it's made up of 168 members, they are here to now try and discuss whether there should be a pause, whether there should be a moratorium, what should happen should companies be able to just go forth and start mining the deep sea when we have no idea what is there, but we do know that the damage will be irreplicable. It will lead to extinction.
Is mining taking place anywhere now?
Disruption in fisheries, etc.
Is the mining taking anywhere in the world now?
Deep sea mining?
There has been what they call exploration, and they distinguish that from mining, but it's the same thing. It means that ships have gone out and they have taken up tons of nodules in places like outside. This is taking place in Oceania, primarily the Pacific Ocean, in places outside of Papua New Guinea and other places. And scientists have studied the impacts because it's been going on for about 10 years. And they can show that there is actually damage. What happens is, as you can imagine, when you scrape the bottom of the sea floor, it creates plumes. Those plumes spread. The damage is irreplaceable. So it is happening as we speak, but as an exploratory type of activity. And the question is whether the ISA will allow it to become legally, not as exploration, but actually as full-on extraction.
Is there a trade-off between the green economy of the future and disturbing the seabed, Esther Figueroa?
No, I'll explain to you that we call it planet Earth, but it really should be planet Ocean, because the oceans are the largest part of the planet, and they're the most important part of the planet, and I'll explain why. They control climate, they control weather, and as you know, we're all in the hottest year in record, and possibly the hottest year that humans can manage to live in. It's only going to get worse. It sequesters carbon and other kind of greenhouse gases, which also lead to global warming and extreme weather events. It also is, of course, a source of food, not just for humans, but for all living creatures. It is actually a source of life. Life began in the ocean, in the deep, deep ocean, and we can't live without it. And once we've already polluted it with plastic, with all sorts of, imagine gas and oil, extraction and the kind of destruction that we've done with that, coral bleaching, on and on and on. We've made extinct numerous marine species. We've overfished, and this is the most important part of the planet. And so the oceans are extremely important. The argument has been that since we have made such a bad job of mining on land, that it would be better to mine the ocean. But this is a very human-centric notion, because there are other creatures in the world. God's creation is not just human beings. So we have screwed up the land, now we'll go screw up the sea and the oceans. It's not a good idea.
What is the position that's being taken? That there should be absolutely no mining at any time of the seabed, the deep seabed, or that we need to know much more about it before it can be contemplated?
All of the above. So, for example, France has come out and said no mining whatsoever. Brazil has come out and said we need a 10-year pause. Some have come out and said, for example, Jamaica and most countries say that we need to come up with robust legal framework and regulations to oversee the mining. That is probably the majority position. And Jamaica, Minister Terry Long was at the ISA yesterday and made his presentation for the government of Jamaica. And he talks in the way the government of Jamaica always does about this balance between resource extraction and environmental protection. And what you need to understand is that the ISA, just like the NRCA and all these other organizations, have the competing mandate to protect the marine environment and to also exploit the marine environment. And you can't do both. So what is being said by most countries is that mining should not start until there is some kind of legal framework, some kind of guidelines But imagine this, you're in the most remote part of the planet, which is the oldest and deepest part of the ocean, which is between Hawaii and Mexico. It's a huge area.
Yeah.
It's bigger than a place like Germany. And we're not even talking depth. And who would monitor that? How would you monitor it? And when you have an accident, quote unquote, when there's a disaster, how would you fix it? And what we need to understand is that the government of Jamaica is already a host country. What you have to be a host under ISCA. In other words, to get a mining license, you have to have a host country that's a member of ISCA. Jamaica is a host country with Blue Minerals, which is a mining entity. We cannot find out what the agreement is because the government keeps it as a state secret. But we do know that Jamaica would be liable for any problems anywhere in the world. And the likelihood of us making much of a profit is very low.
So which agreement is this? That we
once again, we're in an extractivist colonial mode where all these places have made arrangements with various companies, and the likelihood of us benefiting, I don't mean certain individuals benefiting, I mean us as a whole benefiting, is very rare.
Is there?
Let me ask her to explain a little point. There must be great scientific analysis, engineering analysis, people who knows and understand. In today's modern days, today, for you to think, and somebody will say, well, it's better to go to the bottom of the sea. Where does it go? Where does it start? The sea bottom. Yeah?
They don't know yet. We know more about Mars, Venus, outer space, the moon. We know more about the universe beyond the planet than we know about the deep seas. And so thousands of scientists, including Sylvia Earle, who's one of the most famous marine biologists and explorers in the world, they've all come out and said, we don't know enough. Every day they're discovering something new. When this was drafted in the 1970s, they thought that there was no life in the darkness. Over the years, we've found out that most of the life on planet Earth lives in the darkness, in the deep seas.
Wow.
And so, no, we don't really know. And how would we know? It's quite a bit of hubris to think that human beings understand God's creation. We really don't.
Is there going to be any scientific evidence, engineering evidence? We have technology at its highest level now that can advise us pro or con on mining, because
like I said, the main scientists say no. The scientists that work for the exploration companies minimize the damages, but everyone agrees, one way or the other, it just depends how they define science, that we need more knowledge before we start. The question is, how much knowledge do we need? And those that want to go ahead because they think they will benefit. And I'll give you an example. The tiny, 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 tiny nation of Nauru, which is in the Pacific, they destroyed over 80% of their land base through phosphate mining. Most of them had to leave, migrate. They made a lot of money very quickly, and then it was all gone. They are the ones pushing, along with the mining, the metals company, to start this. They're the ones that triggered this strange 2-year clause that we have to come up with yes, no, immediately. Now, this is a tiny island where most people cannot live there because they destroyed it themselves. Do we really want to follow this kind of logic? I don't think so.
They made that money by going into the sea, mining in the sea?
No. Phosphate, they made that money originally in Nauru from phosphate mining, which is on land. That was used for fertilizers in New Zealand and Australia. And has made their own land completely infertile, and most of them had to leave.
Tell
This
us,
is the country that sponsored the first attempt to get us all to get into seabed mining.
can you tell us what do they intend to find, to get from mining? What are they going to mine out? Is it gold, silver, what?
No, it's minerals, isn't it?
Well, it's metals and minerals. It's a wide range of metals and minerals, but the most important are these nodules that are used in batteries and such.
Okay. So, right, it's to promote that kind of technology. Esther Figueroa, before you go, what do you think will be the outcome of these meetings in Kingston then? Is it a stalemate between those various positions? Is there likely to be some compromise? How do you see it ending up?
No, there's always compromise because the whole UN system is based on compromise, right? Currently, what has been said is that instead of rushing to make regulations, what was first going to happen was that mining would be allowed starting in July this month,
Wow.
and that regulations would be put in place in November. Instead, the council, that is the 36 people who decide the fate of the world, have pushed it back 2 years. So instead of 2023, in 2025, they will come up with some kind of regulatory framework. That is the compromise position currently. There's no guarantee. Some of the countries that, like Nauru and the Cook Islands, that want mining to start right now, and they have very powerful
Dr. Ardish,
partners. It might begin, but it's not likely because there's a lot of pushback saying.
It's for us to watch the situation clearly, though. Pernella, last question.
Keep posted.
Are there any plus that they're showing us what mining can do going under the sea rather than staying on land?
Well, the best thing would be to do better practices on land and to have a circular economy and a less wasteful economy. That would be the better road to take.
Many people don't want that. Thanks very much for your thoughts. Keep us informed.
Thanks very much.
Your input.
Take
All
care.
the best. Dr. Esther Figueroa, environmental scientist, on two very important aspects. It's 15 minutes before 2 o'clock. Let's take a break. The Public Eye will return. This is the Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM. Mr. Charles, look what we've done today. We covered with Ambassador Ward the issue of this vexed diplomatic courtesies and principles.
And the Haitian thing.
I think
that I'm more concerned with the Haitian thing than most of what we're
let us, for our listeners, distill what first of all, the principle is the principle of the dignity of humanity, of human beings. And we are asking that as Jamaicans, we respect that and show that, especially for our Haitian brothers and sisters. Yes? And the children particularly. That's
but hold a word. You are worried about 37 who came here.
Yeah.
The government said they are worried about 500,000 who is on their way. Who would like to be on their way.
It sounds like the Egyptians and the Israelites, you know.
Well, I am saying
whatever way we have to respect.
It is easier to help those 500,000 than to send back these 37.
Exactly.
And everyone, all those children are going to be shot. Having run away from it.
Love your principle. And I agree with it. And on the same-sex thing, we're not killing anybody for their sexual preference or their political preference or their religious preference, but do not bring something that is going to be highly offensive to our moral sense here. And government, please just speak about it. Tell us what the position is, and hope then we can move on from this one.
They sound like a Cuban.
Whatever.
The Cuba says, leave us alone. Just that they and their governments on the same side.
Right. Well-
you and your government right now is not on the same side.
Well,
You want to bring them on our side to say, look here,
Yeah, man. But
we cannot
No,
do
we-
this. And there's something in the Constitution prevent you from doing it.
Well, and also, but let us take into account Ambassador Ward's suggestion that many people feel that it's fake news, this particular representation that you and I are both shocked at.
Yeah.
But let's deal with that. Secondly, I want to learn a lesson from you today. That when we interviewed Bishop Craig Brown of Zion Care, yes, you kept this refrain in the background. I wonder if our listeners picked it up like I did. That Jamaicans need to be grateful for those who consider us, and we need to recognize how good friend is better than pocket money.
No, but let's go a little further.
Go, take me.
I don't think that we appreciate.
Yes.
And I'm not talking, when I put it that way, it's too executive.
Yes.
I don't think that man understand what I want for them.
Yes.
I don't think that when you say a man leave Jamaica, you know,
Yes.
I'm going to this snow
Yes. And work his money.
and work his
Pick
money.
up himself and then
and,
come and
come and build a house.
And not only
send
that-
it in them was,
Yeah.
and as I told
bring
you about,
others.
as I tell you about them, I come up with grip.
Yeah.
I think
Something
Dangari for
something
everybody.
everybody.
You know what that means? So our diaspora
Yeah.
people,
So the
our Jamaicans who go abroad,
Yeah.
Britain,
Yes.
Canada, and
Which
America,
is why we are here, and which is why the bridge is here.
and they work hard
Yeah.
and take care
Yeah.
of us here,
Yeah.
and we don't appreciate much of it.
No. And then we had Dr. Esther Figueroa, very trenchant information on the situation with the bauxite industry. Again, needing inquiry, needing deeper study, which we have been avoiding. We can't live in denial. If we are the God bless people that we draw out of the interview with Craig Brown, yes? Those abroad, those here. Then we must face our reality. And my plea to you and through you to others is that the ingredients, the consequences, the opportunities, as well as the detriments of the mining industry is something that we have to look at closely in every aspect. And we are failing to do that. We are running away from doing it. We must not do that anymore. And lastly, with regard to the deep sea mining, we must be in a position where we are quite clear. Don't bring that to us unless you have studied it carefully, unless you know what the consequences are, and that there are significant regulations that will prevent us from making things worse. Don't?
The name alone give you an impression. I say deep sea mining,
Right.
as if you take out something, you'll have more space for water.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you can damage, you can
course.
create a problem down there.
Yeah.
Right now, the sea is coming in right around Jamaica.
Well, you were telling me that off the air.
But I saw somebody put an impression of Jamaica will be 200 years from now.
Yeah.
I look a piece leave, you know. It's just the Blue Mountain top.
Well,
Because the sea is coming
so all the
from east, west, north, and south.
all the more.
And we're in the middle.
Yeah, so let's end up where we're here. This is Unity Radio. This is Jamaica national considerations over and beyond anything else, any other consideration. And what we want to do is to make sure that it is more than a little bit left 200 years' time. We want to make sure that the people flourish, that we all get the best chance to live a satisfying life. Not a luxurious life, but a satisfying life. No, that is what we stand for, and that is why we had the interviews today. And we can draw thoughts which can become the basis of policies, which should become the basis of decisions as a result.
And I'm going to speak on your behalf now.
Yes, sir.
Read what I said.
Final
we're going to say that to the leaders
Yeah.
of the country,
Yeah.
we understand the zeal and that you want to operate with.
Yeah.
But it has to be in the interest of the people.
Absolutely.
And not some of the people,
Right?
but all of the people.
Yes.
And my man from Red Hills,
Yes, I haven't heard from him today. Tell me about him. What
he
must
said
say.
that I should say to you,
Right.
and that I'm not to call in the name. I'm to repeat my mother's poem.
Yes.
If your foot slips,
Sleep.
what happened?
You can catch up.
You can't catch up.
Uh-huh.
But if your
If
tongue
your tongue
slips,
slip, you can't draw back the word.
can't.
Well, and that's good advice for the broadcasters too, and all of the company on the Bridge 99 FM. Thanks so much for your company.
Thank you
Thanks
very
so
much.
for all of those who have listened today. Jeffrey, thank you for your help. We look forward to returning with the public eye next week, Wednesday. Till then, stay tuned to the Bridge 99 FM.